And after cracking that top 6, you know, he's got a lot of work to do still, because those drivers up towards the front of the field are looking so competitive, and I'm very impressed right now to watch what some of these guys are doing. I mean, I take a look towards the mid of the field right now. We've still got that bottle of cars very, very tight as the 51 of Bradley Burke is continuing to fall back. 3 wide, Jamie Haley in the middle. The 0-1 of Alan Cryer through the middle. Beautiful move. He's going to look to the middle once more. He's going to drift up the track, though, almost into the outside wall. 24 laps complete, and these guys are still just racing it out like it's lap number 133.
Yeah, Alan Cryer's another one of those guys. Might have a better long-run car because he started 25th all the way up to 15th, and now he's pinned in behind Bradley Burke and Justin Munseal. Both those cars have heavy right-side damage. He'll look to the inside. He's making some pretty big-time moves there for Alan. He might be a car that will be toward the top 10, even top 5 before this thing's over.
Trying to keep our eyes right here on these drivers just outside that top 10. The 44, specifically Michael Araya, continues to pick up a few of these spots real quick here. Underneath that number 12, Justin Munsell, he has fallen back considerably after catching the outside wall about 5 laps ago. He just could not keep it up off the outside wall, coming through 3 and 4, creamed it pretty good there. Possibly might have damaged something in the suspension of that machine here, and he might be in the same boat as Bradley Burke, as Bradley Burke is also following back. Ryan Dyson still trying to get up into the top 20. He's sitting in 20th right now, so technically he is. Chad Coleman also back there, Michael Thompson, Brandon Madonia, Rally Grant Davis, Michael McLean, all drivers way further back than what we're accustomed to seeing still. But out in front, we've still got Bronson Stafford leading this race. He's led now 19 laps in that beautiful number 39 Monster Energy machine, and Chris Wright is trying to chase him down.
Chris Wright might have some other problems other than chasing down Bronson Stafford. That's Corey Hoover in his rearview mirror coming to him for the second spot. Also, Joe Lawrence is getting ready to pass the 38 of Shane Terrian, so both these cars, they're getting ready to get under attack from RC8 Racing, and these guys, they have the speed in the long run. Talking about Corey Hoover and Joe Lawrence, as this run really continues on here for the rest of these guys, they might be the cars that'll march toward the front, P1 and 2.
Hopping on board with tonight's in-race reporter, Shane Terrian, driver of the 38. We'll take a look at a couple of laps around this place in that number 38, and he's running right now inside the top 5, looking to get up to 4th, or actually up into 3rd, 2nd, and possibly up to 1st here. We'll keep our eyes on him.
And he's actually getting past there on the left side by Joe Lawrence here. I'll drop him outside the top 4, but definitely an interesting track, the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Shane goes up to the top group, let Joe Lawrence by, or at least try and get a run on him off the corner. But definitely Atlanta, a very unique track, and as you can see, you have to watch that wall off turn 2. It's been such a pressure point in tonight's race overall, so Shane's doing a nice job there, and also just the different lane selections. You're going to see these guys tonight mostly on the bottom, and that is the preferred groove. But early on, especially after those restarts got underway, that outside lane was the place to be when it came to passing, and could still be a factor if it comes late in the race.
J.D. Laird is tonight's biggest mover so far. He has worked his way outside the top 20, now into the 13th position in that machine after only 30 laps here. Pit stops are still about 15 to 20 laps away, so we got plenty of time to think about that. But as we watch these guys go around this place, a lot of the things that we saw early on, the big groups, they're starting to break apart. And now what we're seeing is the drivers that save their stuff a little bit better than others start to work their way up through the field. And one of those drivers also Corey Hoover in the 33. Look at this. He is now on the door of that 2nd position here, almost into the outside wall, though, as he's looking to get around Chris Wright and maybe start chasing down Bronson Stafford for the lead here.
definitely got the momentum into turns 3 and 4. Going to stay right behind Chris Wright. We'll see if he gets a run off turn 4 to Corey Hoover. But it looks like he'll just tuck in line there. Definitely got a faster car through the center of the corner, so he might make a move here off turn 2. But nonetheless, I think in a couple laps, Corey Hoover's going to be that second place driver, and he's going to be chasing down Bronson Stafford for the lead. As there he goes to the inside, tries to make the move, but the outside too strong off the corner, and Chris Wright holds the spot.
Yeah, he's got the nose, and most likely he'll make the pass. There's, oh, trouble! Huge trouble up at the front of the field. Chris Wright, Corey Hoover, hard contact around on the front straightaway.
And Corey still flipping into the grass. That is an absolutely unfortunate circumstance for both those drivers to be involved in. We'll have to pull up the replay, but it looks like the Atlanta Tri-Oval strikes again.
And I can't say that I almost didn't see that one coming. I just didn't quite understand why he was running so close to that outside wall at the time, and then all of a sudden, once we saw what started to happen, it was like the 12, Chris Wright caught the outside wall, it gets him loose, he clips Corey Hoover hard into the wall, flips down the front straightaway, down into the inside fence. Holy crap.
Yeah, the Atlanta Motor Speedway Tri-Oval, it's definitely interesting. You're not going to find a speedway like it. It's so wide and allows these guys to run multiple groups. You could probably fit 5 or 6 cars lined up side by side at the finish line. That's how wide it is, but Chris Wright tried to use all of it, tried to use just a little bit too much, gets into that outside wall, as you said, Steve, and just how he hit it, ricocheted the car directly into Corey Hoover and really right hooks him head on into the wall. It's going to be a hard hit for both those guys. Probably ends both their nights. Also, Shane Terrian might have got a piece of that. Gonna have to check the front end of his car, but what a tough way for both those guys running in the top 3 and for the lead to end their nights.
And believe it or not, Shane Terrian, even though technically he made some extremely hard contact there, he's going to walk away with no damage just due to the way that simulation contact points are.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. That's a gift really for Shane Terrian. Still got a fast car, and looks like, as you said, Steve, he's going to be all set to go and be able to forget that one and continue to move on and battle for the lead.
You are tuned in for the Intoxicated Gaming 200 here live on CFI. First 36 laps have been quite exciting. As we continue to watch these guys, we'll get ready to get a green flag restart here in just a hot second. We're going to pop off for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have that restart for you.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics, and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger.
Back here for the Intoxicated Gaming 200. Pace car lights are off. We're double back up. Shane Terrian, after the heavy damage, along with teammate Bronson Stafford on the front row. Pace car pulls it down to pit road as we wait for the 39 to go. Green flag back in the air here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Teammates lead the field down. Bronson staff are going to slide in front of Shane Terry, and they've got the strong start in the turns 1 and 2. But that whole incident there involving the caution is going to give some guys who are running just outside the top 5 a chance to now battle for the lead. Joseph Tice, Nick Mass, and Byron Daly. One of the great examples. Byron started 23rd up to 5th, and he's got a strong 93 car. Could definitely.
Whoa, JD,
I'll be a
contact!
JD Laird contact with Trevor Rupp.
And everybody's going to save it for the time being.
And then Ryan Dyson gets into Trevor Rappolo. He
there's
corrects
contact.
Mark Rappolo. That's going to be a big wreck down the front straightaway.
Paul Cooper gets involved. Trevor Rappolo gets more damage. Take a look at what happened.
46 as well.
Yeah, JD Laird was just cutting through the middle like no other. Through the middle of the corner.
He just hip check 9 of Trevor Rappolo. They get together. They did a nice job saving it. Trevor, he's already got a damaged car at this point. Ryan Dyson goes to the apron, tries to make evasive moves, but that car comes up the track, hits Trevor Rappolo, who was also on the apron, so those guys really know where to go. Checks him into the wall, and from there it was on, and several cars get a piece of that. Ryan Dyson goes airborne through all the bumps on the front straightaway in that car. He'll be all right, but definitely in the case of both the Rappolo brothers and everyone else, their nights are pretty much over.
Either way, this sends us back under caution and gives us a chance to catch our breath, and we'll try to get a ring in with our in-race reporter, Shane Terrian, driving that number 38 currently in second. Shane, you made it through that caution just a bit ago, that first one there with Corey Hoover flipping in front of you. Take us through what it looked like from your point of view.
I got hit on my point of view. I guess I got to thank iRacing for not contacting me, because I got 4X, didn't have any damage, so I guess the network likes me tonight.
You never know, network might have owed you one from past experiences here, but right now the racing looks pretty tight. Lots of cloud cover here tonight, track temperature relatively low. What's the racing like?
It's fun. It's definitely tire saving worthy. Like, you have to save your tires or you're going to go into the wall. So if you save your tires, it makes for fun racing. So that's what me and my teammate Bronson have been trying to do. So,
well, it's early on in the season, and we do know you won't be around for the entire season. But take us through how pumped up you are for this race here tonight, for this season, and tell us a little bit about how interesting it's been to watch the UpperEdge Racing League grow.
Oh, it's been great. I think this is the most cars we've had in this league. It's kind of sucks that I'm leaving when we're getting this many good drivers. It's been a little less rage-inducing, more fun, but I'm just here to win it. This few races that I got, so my teammate doesn't like it, I'm going to take it from him, but I'm glad the UpperEdge Racing has grown to where it's at, so I'm glad to, when I come back, I'm looking something forward to.
All right, Shane, well, thanks for coming up here to talk to us. We're going to get ready for this restart here and get you back down to your team, but best of luck out there tonight. It's going to be a great one.
Thank you, guys.
Shane, back up to you.
That caution definitely raising some eyebrows, obviously. Talking about Ryan Dyson, did he really need to go to the apron and try and come back up the racetrack in Trevor Rappolo? Did Trevor Rappolo already have that spot? They're talking about it over radio, but ultimately all those cars get caught up in it. It looks like Trevor Rappolo is in the pits trying to get something salvaged out of that car along with Mark Rappolo, but both of them heavily tore up. It's going to take a while before those cars even attempt to go back out there on the racetrack, so tough break for them. Ryan Dyson, you only see some right side damage on that car. Looks like 4 tires, pull the fenders, and he's back out there currently at 24th, so definitely a lots of track position to make up for that team. And plenty other guys in for damage and away. So already a couple cautions early on, making some guys have to fix some damage.
And the pace car lights will most likely come off this time for the Intoxicated Gaming 200 here at Atlanta. Next week we go to Auto Club and then back to the Short Tracks, Iowa. Then round number 5 is at Road America. And then, of course, some of the changes that we haven't talked about too much this season, we go back to, well, not necessarily back to, but we have a chase this season for these drivers. That makes things a little more interesting for sure. I'm excited to see how that one will work. A win and you're in, basically, and then whoever hasn't had a win, if there's any spots remaining, will get in on points. So, but we're watching right now. It's too early in the season to be talking about the chase as we're getting ready for another restart.
Definitely are, but talking about the case of Shane Terrian, you never know. He misses some of the season, comes back late, has that opportunity. If he won a race earlier, that's an opportunity for him to still fight for a championship despite missing several races. It's just something for him to keep in the back of his mind, and really anyone who has something come up throughout the season. If you win a race, you're in the chase, and there you go. If you're around when that time comes, you will have a chance, just like everyone else, to fight for the championship and ultimately go out there and attempt to win it. So that's just awesome about the chase and what it brings to this league.
And this is just one of my favorite tracks as a driver and as a broadcaster. This place always puts out great racing. It's a lot of fun to drive. It's slick. It's got an older surface. Lots of room to race. But the pace car ducks down pit road. Shane Terrian chooses the outside once again. Gets a nice little jump here. And both drivers on the front row are away. Green flag is back in the air on lap number 44.
Great start from Bronson Stafford. He rocks to the front, takes the arc, and continues to pull away. They've definitely, Bronson Stafford, Shane Terrian, been on it when it comes to restarts. Joseph Tyson third, Byron Daly in fourth, and Nick Mass complete your top 5 as the field rockets into turn 3.
And Nick Mass definitely impressed us last week at Daytona. We saw that driver. He was up towards the front, led some laps. We talked to him on and off, but Nick Mass, driver of the number 95, might just be one of the rookies to watch out for here early on in the season, if not for the whole season. Right now, he's running inside the top 5 and 5th, and that number 95 looks pretty sporty. And then another driver to keep our eyes on that we didn't get to talk about much last week is Walker Thomas. I'm watching him right now. He's inside the top 10. He's racing hard. J.D. Lear just got around him, but this number 84 might be somebody to be reckoned with as well throughout the season.
Yeah, Walker's one of that group of drivers that started in the middle of the back half of the field and made their way into the top 10. He started 15th up to 9th. In front of him, J.D. Laird, Alan Cryer, Joe Lawrence. They started 20th and even farther back than that as well. They're inside the top 8. So that just shows you how much those guys have been passing cars throughout the first third of this race. And they continue to work strong, and definitely we're starting to see a mix-up of the guys up front to the guys who have been there all race. The guys who did not get the qualifying run they wanted, they are up toward the front and now in a contention to get toward the lead.
And Joseph Tice right now pops down to the inside. He's going to make the pass there on, that's number 38 of Shane Terrian. On the outside, look at Byron Daly there in that number 93 Focus machine. He's trying to make something happen up there, work his way probably to the lead. That's probably the goal. Here's we're looking 3 wide across the stripe here for a hot second. Still staying all jumbled up here. Up all the way to the outside, 3 wide into the corner, and then Byron will back out of it there wisely early on. These drivers racing so dang hard. Here comes Rally Grant Davis as well in the number 24, cracking into the top 5, getting around now. Walker Thomas is after he had some issues. Caught the outside wall almost a second ago. Jamie Haley also in this group as well. We've got drivers sideways back there. Is everybody going to hold on to it? I do believe that was Michael Araya having issues.
We got all kinds of action. We've got battles for the lead for 5th, back from 10th all the way back to 20th, and they're still going side by side all across the racetrack. Now Joseph Tice looking for the lead on Bronson Stafford. Going to try that outside lane. Here we go. Around 5 laps in from a restart in the outside lane, showing some life. The possibility to take the lead off turn 4 here. Going to be side by side. It looks like Joseph Tice going to come ever so close. Not quite that time, and they actually exactly tie across the line.
And look at Nick Mass in there as well on that inside second row. Joe Lawrence possibly looking to the middle in that number 78. As these guys are right on top of each other, but with that run that the 5's going to get, he's going to drop down to the inside line. block Bronson Stafford here in that Toyota Camry Monster Energy machine. Almost going to run out of room. Here we come off of 4. Look at the battle we have for the lead.
You got to remember, Joseph Tice started his season out pretty well in Daytona. Won the shootout race before the regular season race 2 weeks ago, but he's carrying that momentum to a strong start to the season, and here he is tonight in Atlanta, leading laps out front and starting to pull away as Joe Lawrence takes second on the outside. That's another car that, once again, moving the outside lane has something to it and early in a run, especially when you've got guys on the inside of you, and Joe Lawrence rockets the second, and he might have a chance to take the lead as well.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes right now on Lawrence as he's looking underneath of Joseph Tice, and he's got the nose underneath of him there. Will the 5 have the run? I do believe he will. Will he clear him? No, he won't. Down into 3 and 4. Here comes Joe Lawrence for the lead, looking for it. Hungry as always. And he's going to slip up the track, almost make contact here. Whoa, almost into the outside wall. And here comes Nick Mass looking for a way around these boys. Up here is this is beautiful racing. Clint Carr all the way up now to 11th in that 99 as he looks to get around Alan Cryer in that number 01. And then right in front of him, Jamie Haley battles with the 24 and the 44 of Lariah, and then back to the front, still side by side for the top spot is the crossover for Joseph Tice. And Joe Lawrence going to be up on the outside this time by. Coming across the stripe, almost a dead tie, but I do believe tossed that one up to Joseph Tice just by a little tiny bit of a car.
Notable to mention, Clint Carr, he's up 21 spots from where he started, and definitely he's part of that group of drivers that is really making his way toward the front. Rally Grant Davis is also up a ton of spots, almost 25 for that car. So both those guys are making their way toward the front from literally dead last in the pack, and now Joe Lawrence, as you said, Steve, takes the lead, and he's going to keep it so far off turn 4 down the front straightaway. It's been interesting to watch these guys battle side by side, and they're literally pulling the rest of the field in doing so. Something you usually don't see.
Just watching this group of cars right here, just right outside the top 10. The number 19 of Jacob Adams, after having issues early on, I tell you what, we saw him turned around on the inside of the back straightaway, and now he's working towards the top 10, back to the top 10 with that pass right there. So this number 19 of Jacob Adams, regardless of the issues he had earlier on, still impressing me out there. As now Joe Lawrence has the lead in front of Joseph Tice, Nick Mass in 3rd, Bronson Stafford 4th, and then Byron Daly in 5th. As the field is spreading out here, as we might have a longer green flag run on our hands.
Yeah, definitely out front it is spread out. These guys starting to feel that effect of a mid-race run and really starting to get their rhythm in, build some confidence, some momentum, and rack off some pretty good lap times as well as Joe Lawrence continues to lead, trying to pull away from Joseph Tice. Are not really going to be able to do so, and really the battle is from 10th on back. Guys going side by side, notably J.D. Laird, Alan Cryer. They continue their march toward the front. They're really a part of this pack of cars that hasn't let up since the drop of the green flag. It's been side by side from 10th on back for everyone else.
Taking a hop on the front bumper of J.D. Laird's machine, just taking a look what we got going on in front of him here in the Intoxicated Gaming 200 live from Atlanta Motor Speedway on Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty as always up in the booth bringing all the action to you now 3 years in a row here. You've been listening to us live on the CFI network. Right now, field is still single filing out. We're about 15 laps into our run so far. Joe Lawrence took the lead for the first time of the night, and he is starting to pull away from Joseph Tice and Nick Mass, and this is the first driver we've seen be able to do that. So we'll keep our eyes on what's going on up front as the field continues to spread on out. An update on a couple of drivers. Ryan Dyson involved in that last caution. He's working on his recovery right now in 21st. Another driver falling back right now is the number 84 of Walker Thomas. We talked about him not too long ago inside the top 10, struggling right now as it is. Chris Wright, he led some laps earlier on. He actually led only 5, but he was looking pretty sporty. Involved in the first caution of the night along with Corey Hoover, who has retired. We might try to get a ring in with him at some point here if we can. But a lot of drivers right now are going up and down, and I am trying to get a ring in with Corey Hoover, currently on pit road, probably done for the night. Corey, do you have a copy?
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm just watching the racing right now. Take us through Corey, you took a very, very hard hit earlier on in the night. What exactly happened?
Yeah, I was busy actually watching the broadcast. I was actually working my way through the field pretty well, and then tried to pass the 12, and then through the drivable, I saw some sky, and then I was sitting in the grass, wrecked.
Yeah, pretty much anytime you start seeing sky instead of the cars in front of you, you know you're in trouble. But the racing right now is just incredible watching these guys around and the way that these guys are racing. We have so many great drivers this season. Talk about the competition so far early in the season, and what do you feel is going to be the key to consistency and success this year?
Yeah, sucks I couldn't be out there racing with them, but accidents happen. You know, I was mad at first, but I'm glad that he stepped up and said that that was his fault. I'm not really mad about that anymore. But yeah, we have lots of fast people. Some famous people in here, I'd say, with Garrett Smithy and then Parker Cleverman coming in. So looking forward to racing with everyone throughout the season, and it's going to be as good as always.
Yeah, 36 registered total drivers. They might not have all started this race, but very impressive car counts and very impressive looking season along for you. What do you think for your number 33 team is the biggest change that you have to adjust to this season?
Well, with the chase on the B car side, it's just kind of swapping over. There's more races to get in. I didn't really think about it until now. I guess I got a win to get in now that I'll be finishing pretty bad. But other than that, just doing the same like we did past couple of years. Just try to finish consistent top fives and compete for wins here and there.
All right, Corey, well, again, sorry to see you involved in that hard incident early on. Good to see you're okay. Always got to wonder here after those hard hits. You never know, might bruise a wrist with the force feedback, especially with the direct wheels. You just never know.
Yeah, you're telling me my wrist is pretty sore.
Yeah, might need to ice that one for a few days. We'll see you next week, Corey.
All right, guys, take care.
Back up to you, Shane.
And also notably, the 81 of Brandon Hastings is a tire specialist for JD Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. He's up here racing tonight just outside the top 12, back to 13th in the 81 car. So all kinds of new faces coming to the UpperEdge Sportsman Series, even some more famous ones than we really realized. And that's awesome to see. And this season is going to be filled with a bunch of great races, and the added drivers and really added personalities to this league make it just that great.
But at the halfway point, it's still been a pretty good race so far. Just taking a look at what things have been like, we'll take a look with the current running order. Joe Lawrence still leads this thing over Joseph Tyke, Nick Massey in third, Byron Daly, Bronson Stafford, Shane Terrian, Mariah Laird, Clint Carr, and Alan Cryer to round out your top 10. Only separated by 4 seconds. And taking a look rest of the field here, Rally Grant Davis, some notable drivers. Jacob Adams still working his way back up. Smithley fell a little bit further back, and Dyson also on the recovery. And rounding out your top 30 there, just lots of drivers working on making their ways back up. 28 drivers on the lead lap right now, but we've got plenty of racing left. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on Checkered Flag Interactive, and when we come back, we'll update you on everything we need to know, as pit stops will be right around the corner. Don't go away.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets, too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do. Bigger cargo.
RSI's Aurora. There are many like it, but this one is yours.
Caution is out here on CFI, taking a look at the replay. Rally Grant Davis involved. Hard contact. Spins through the grass. Ryan Dyson comes through. Careens hard into that machine. What a contact, Shane. And we're under our third caution of the night.
We also have a separate incident involving the 24 Rally Grant Davis, the 43 Garrett Smithley. They got to go on the front straightaway, both spun. Garrett went through pit road. Rally Grant Davis just went around, kept going. But also some exchanges after the caution came out. Rally Grant Davis gets into the left side of Garrett Smithley under pacing, drives away. But there are definitely some tempers flaring there. Garrett Smithley, not a regular in the series. Rally Grant Davis, a seasoned veteran, definitely not happy with Garrett. Both those guys going at it.
Yeah, you can see there, we'll take a look at what happened after the caution, and Ellie Grant Davis just on that back straightaway there. right now he's probably thinking about, what do I do now? And he's going to come up there and give him a door slam and call it a day. Definitely not appropriate regardless of what just happened. Anytime you start using that car as a weapon, that's when you expect penalties to be inbound. So we'll keep our eye after the race to see what and most likely how many penalties we'll see for anyone involved in that wreck.
And that's just the tough break for both those guys in general. Riley Grant Davis had just cracked the top 10, was up there, really gaining ground and going to be positioning himself to have a good night. And also Garrett Smithley, who qualified second, was having a good run early on, fell back in the pack, and really didn't get his way toward the front before being involved in that wreck. So definitely both those guys going to hinder their nights. Should end them, but for the most part, some heavy damage on both those guys' left and right sides, and obviously Garrett Smithley's got to be scratching his head after that one. Not quite sure what happened between him and Riley Grant Davis.
And trying to get a ring in with one of our drivers we're watching here closely tonight, Nick Massey. It's Steve Bonesteel up in the booth. Do you got me, bud?
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, watching you out here. Very impressed with the performance for week number 2 out of this number 95 machine. What's the racing like out there, and do you have what you need to take home a victory here, as we are now within pit stop range, I do believe?
I sure hope so. It's pretty tough to pass, we're pretty much wide open for, probably 13, 15 laps or so. Then you got to lift a little bit, so I'm going to try. I think I learned a little something that last run. I'm going to try it here. Hopefully I can conserve my tires enough and drive up through there.
Well, with this race coming down to the wire here after this restart, the rest of the race will click off pretty quickly. And you look off into the next weeks, we've got short tracks, road courses. How does the performance of this number 95 expect to be at those tracks?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I really didn't expect to come in here running top 5 for the first 2 weeks. I was pretty disappointed last week running, top 5, top 10 all race and having that lag issues there at the end. But hopefully I can continue to run pretty well here. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, Nick. Well, before we get you back down to your team, who do you have to thank for making this number 95 successful a couple weeks in a row here early on in the season?
I just got to thank my team, Markel Murphy, my owner, and Chris and Jamie for helping me, convincing me to do the league.
All right, bud. Well, thanks for talking to us as always. We'll get you back down to your team. Best of luck out there.
Thanks. Have a good one.
And once again, Shane, back up to you.
Joseph Ty is going to be the new leader here on the restart. Joe Lawrence going to be to his outside, and they will lead the field to green. Pace car pulls off. We're going to be back to green flag racing here on lap 81. Great start for Joseph Dice. Byron Daly rockets into second, but here comes the 39, Bronson Stafford. All kinds of blocking down the back straightaway for all these guys, trying to keep it low. Don't want to give up that inside lane here as the tires are very cold. Once they get up to heat, that outside group will have some momentum, but it's going to take a couple laps to do so.
In the field, trying to single file out a little bit here. A couple of drivers ducking down, trying to make some moves. Taking a look, Joseph Tice though, Byron Daly for second, and then wow, look at Joe Lawrence trying to get around Bronson Stafford for third, excuse me.
Tried the inside out of turn 2, then the inside out of turn 4. Nothing working for Joe Lawrence. He's going to try and get the run once again off of turn 2. This time around, going to drive it almost underneath the apron. That's how far these guys will go to try and get that spot. And here he goes once again to turn 3. This time he's got the position. Going to take a look to the inside of Bronson Stafford as they're side by side for third. And
here comes Shane Tarian as well, looking in on that picture. Nick Massey up there as well. Alan Cryer battling with all of these drivers. Clint Carr impressed with him, now inside the top 10. Chad Coleman, Jamie Haley battles here side by side for 13th. Bradley Burke, Michael McLean battling as well. Lots of battles, just can't even cover them. There's so many. But right now, disappointment for many drivers. Ryan Dyson, Rally Grant Davis, heartbroken. Trevor Roppolo, all of those drivers had a strong car. Just did not get the luck that they needed and put them in a bad spot, and out of the race they are.
Yeah, both Trevor and Mark have tough nights tonight. They're going to finish 32nd and 33rd. We talked to Corey Hoover earlier. Looks like he's going to bring it home 34th, and that's the last point-scoring position held for tonight's event. That's going to be definitely a tough hit, the points for him. Those guys are going to have to come back next week with plenty of the guys up front. They're going to try and harness that opportunity to get a good points night, and they're doing exactly that up front. These guys battling hard. Byron Daly up into second now. He's going to set his sights on Joseph Tice.
I'm still watching how some of these boys are battling right here, side by side for this position. Here comes Bronson Stafford on the front bumper, then Shane Terrian on the inside of the 78 of Lawrence. Double teaming here from this position right now, teammates.
Yeah, they definitely are. They've got Joe Lawrence as the sandwich in the middle. Joe doesn't like any of that. Looks to the inside. Going to try and go to the outside. Going to break it up for a little bit. But Joe's been trying everything really out there to try and get by Bronson Stafford. Nothing goes to the high line there. Going to have some momentum, but just not enough to get by Bronson Stafford for the moment being. And it looks like we're going to have a wreck in the back. Pull up a replay. Looks like Michael McLean and Mark Murphy get into it. Looks like Mike McLean gets into the back of Mark Murphy, sends Mark spinning. He'll go around off turn 4. Don't appear that car got any damage, and it eventually hit the inside wall actually, so that car is going to have some front end damage, no rear end damage for Mark Murphy. But he nonetheless pulls it down pit road, going to lose a lap. Here's the rest of the field coming down for pit service.
Pretty hard hit for Mark Murphy there, unfortunately for him. That'll end his night. So that's another driver who was looking for a good night here at Hotlanta. Involved hard in the Intoxicated Gaming 200, lap 89 now. We're coming to more and more in the books. We're going to throw it off for a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have you for the restart.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics, and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for a request today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets, too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do. cargo.
RSI's Aurora. There are many like it, but this one is yours.
Once again, doubled up for another restart here. We're coming to lap 92 in the Intoxicated Gaming 200 here live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Shane, it's looking good here tonight. This race is looking exciting. What do you think we're going to see towards the end?
Well, we've seen some great racing so far, very close, especially battles for speed. I think we're going to see more of that and all kinds of action. These guys know they have to come to the front, and if they're not there, they're going to make it 2 and 3 wide to get there, and that's just going to create even more racing from 5th on back. So green flag back out. Bronson Stafford, great jump on the inside for the lead.
A little bit of tire spin, actually. Surprising. Was able to crank out enough power from these B cars to get that tire spin down there. Very interesting. Could be a problem later on in the race if these guys don't bring it down pit road at one of those late race cautions. Getting hot on the gas here. Whew, that could be tough.
Just spun there down the back straightaway. Byron Daly almost going to the white line to block the run from Joseph Tice. The race continues on. You're going to see more and more of that. Track position a must when it comes to winning this race, and you're just going to have to make moves like that to keep the guys from behind you.
And these laps are going to come off very, very quickly from the board, simply because now that we're towards that part of the race, this is where drivers, they push hard, they look, they dig deep, looking for more and more, and ooh, mistakes could be made.
Speaking of pushing hard, Byron Daly, he's trying to take this lead from Bronson Stafford. Looked low, looked high, almost got put in the fence by Bronson, but now here he comes. He's there on the outside. Almost wasn't very close quarters racing in turn 1. Now the rest of the field has come into play. Joseph Tice lost the lead under that caution. Exchange of green flag pit stops. Excuse me, under caution pit stops. Lost it on pit road, but he's looking for the lead. Goes to the inside below the apron. Gives a shot to the 39 of Bronson Stafford. He's letting them know that he's there and he's looking for this lead. Makes the pass. As here we go, side by side once again. Bronson Stafford going to the inside. Joseph Tice outside. Going to try and make the move there. As here comes Shane Terrian once again. He's had the speed all night. Joe Lawrence is also back into the picture. Nick Mass, Alan Cryer. Talked about him earlier, and here he is inside the top 7. All these guys in great position to make a move for the leaders. We're almost at lap 100.
Bronson Stafford to the front under Joseph Tice. Very impressive here.
And he's giving it everything he can. Down almost to the apron goes Joseph Tice again. This time he's there to the inside. Going to retake the lead in the 5 car. He's got a ton of speed tonight, and that is really something to watch out for the rest of these guys. Joe Lawrence makes a move on Byron Daly. Looks like the rest of the field all coordinating together here. That accordion effect really starting to make a difference. Here's the field. Everyone's pretty much within 2 seconds of the lead.
And we are coming down. The laps continue to click off, and a lot of the big names that I expected to be, huge factors in this race. Drivers like Nick Massey still hanging up inside the top 10. Jacob Adams, though, big comeback for him. Lariah comeback. Clint Carr driving through the field, but big names like J.D. Laird, Justin Munsell. And I really expected a lot more out of a lot of these drivers. They're just struggling here tonight. A lot of big names taken out early on. Corey Hoover, Ryan Dyson, Austin Hartenfeld's not here tonight. So just a lot of names that I expected to see a lot from, just not here.
And also notable to mention, the 40 Michael Finlayson ran great here. The last time we came here was a day race, but he didn't even start the race tonight in that 14 car. Gonna have to figure out exactly what happened to that team, and he did not take the green flag, so it's definitely going to be a hit in the points as well. And definitely the guys up front, they know tonight could be a great opportunity to really, get toward the front in the points. With those guys up front who usually run there, having tough luck or not being in the race tonight, definitely this is their chance to make their points known early on.
And Joseph Tice back to the lead. We saw that happen. And now Bronson Stafford with Joe Lawrence. Oh, Jacob Adams clips the outside wall. We've seen him catch that outside wall before here tonight and did not definitely help him at any given way. So right now as we're working away around some lap down traffic here, Chris Wright going to allow these guys up on the outside. Wow, these cars are so close to each other.
Here comes Byron Daly to the inside. Shane Terry going to try and take away the 4th spot. Nothing going there. And just a little bit further back, Alan Cryer continues to battle with the 84 Walker Thomas. I just talked about it earlier as well. Jamie Haley, he's made a nice comeback. And obviously everyone else we mentioned, Michael Arrea and Clint Carr, all those guys just outside the top 10. They're still in good spots. Going to have to pass a couple cars before they're in the top 5. But nonetheless, they are there. Just have to find that little extra speed to get toward the front.
Lots of drivers still just trying to figure out what they need to do here to get this race. And in the case that we do have another caution, there's still hope for a lot of these drivers. What do? Do you come down pit road? That's the chatter, and that's what I'm hearing. Dennis walking pit road for us up and down. He's telling us crew chiefs all over the place are trying to figure out what do I want to do. I'm hearing the most common thing is coming down, taking 2 for these drivers that are about 10th on back. Take 2, come out, and, top 5 and hold on to it. Track position seems very important.
It definitely does, and the strategy's going to depend the guys up front to the guys outside the top 10, and farther back beyond that. If you're Joseph Tice, Bronson Stafford, you have a lot to lose being up there toward the front. But if you're outside the top 10, guys like Clint Carr, Brandon Hastings, and Chad Coleman, you could take 2 and absolutely take a shot at the win and have an opportunity. And if you lose spots, so what? You were already back there in the first place. So that's going to be things we're going to have to watch. If we do see a caution, and of course if we don't, it's going to be up to the race to the front to decide the race winner tonight. And Joseph Tice surprisingly starting to pull away as Joe Lawrence catches a bit of the apron there, going to lose a little ground. But really him and Bronson Stafford, they have not been able to cut into Joseph Tice's lead. It's been pretty impressive for him to pull out to the kind of lead he has right now.
Yeah, a lot of drivers have tried, but not many have been successful here tonight. Top 5 is Joseph Tice, Bronson Stafford, Joe Lawrence, Shane Terry, and Byron Daly to round out your top 5 here as we are now 108 laps in the books.
Top 3, they've got everything going for them, but 4th on back's a hornet's nest at this point. Byron Daly leading the charge, Nick Mass up to 5th, but it's Shane Terry, Jacob Adams, Alan Cryer, and several other drivers behind them that have been side by side the last couple of laps, and they are trying to get toward the front because they know the race is coming down to it. And if you're not in a position to be in the top 5 and try and run down these leaders, you're not going to have a good chance to win. And that's exactly what Byron Daly, Nick Mass have realized. They've made it into the top 5.
Yeah, lots of drivers though, like J.D. Laird. I mean, just once they start digging into these drivers, they could pick up some spots pretty quickly. It's just the fact that passing seems so close to impossible here with 25 laps to go. that it's a challenge to make moves as Shane Terrian's falling back. Nick Massey now inside that top 5, so lots of drivers still figuring out what's working, what's not working.
And now looks like Michael Stafford, Joe Lawrence, they've caught Joseph Tice for the lead, and he's going to move up the track. Here comes Bronson Stafford to the inside. Does the 39 Toyota Camry have enough to take the lead? Contact made almost there. They're going to be 3 wide, different 3 there, Steve. Definitely. They're going for it now. You can tell the race is almost over at this point.
Holy cow, here not much room to give as these guys go 3 wide. Joseph Tice has got to hang up high to the outside, but remember what we saw earlier here is Bronson Stafford works it through the middle. Is he going to be able to make it stick? We've been 3 wide for a full lap, and Joe Lawrence finally concedes. Will he find another hole? Here is that outside has the run. Incredible racing.
Now Joseph Tice on the outside, going to try and make it work, retake the lead through all the madness, and Bronson Stafford, the car in the middle of all cars to make a move 3 wide, takes the lead, and he's going to continue to go strong as Joe Lawrence gives him a big shot on the front straightaway, and that's going to push him in the lead.
Now 21 laps to go. Now 20 as the field comes across the stripe one more time. Getting closer and closer to these guys. Wow.
And now Byron Daly's made his way up into the picture here for the lead, the 4th place car. Talking about it, if you position yourself just around the top 5 and you run these leaders down, you have a chance to win. And could Byron Daly really play dark horse, play a sneak attack here in these top 3? Could he get up there, make the pass, and possibly pull away in the closing laps? We'll just have to see. He's definitely got the long run speed. The question is does he have the ability to get around there?
And with such an interesting week in NASCAR with so many new rule changes being developed, caution clocks, talks of the caution clock and everything in between, making fans outraged all across the lands. Good news is, for all the UpperEdge fans out there, there will not be a caution clock. No Steve Bonesteel clock on the racetrack here. So we're continuing to watch these guys out here as the laps continue to click off. We've got a 4-car breakaway up towards the front.
Yeah, definitely not limited by a time tonight at all. That's for sure. It's racing and racing to the end if that's how it's going to be. And Joe Lawrence retakes the lead there on the inside. Bronson Stafford coming back on the outside, though. They're going to be side by side in the turn.
And how Joe Lawrence continues to find the holes that he does is pretty impressive, I must say.
It definitely is. He's had the speed all night. Didn't get the great starting spot that he wanted. Qualified 24th. We really talked about him early on, how he wasn't going to be a factor. And once he would get toward the front, he would have that speed, and that's exactly what's happened. He's there now. It's just, can he defend the position and ultimately hold off these guys? As Byron Daly almost took possible situation. What happened to Chris Wright? Got so high in the trial, will hit the outside wall. He stays off of it, trying to get all the momentum he can through turns 1 and 2. He will do so. So they're actually fixing to do that. As there he gets into the wall in the back straightaway, trying to get around Bronson.
Once again, working our way around Chris Wright and Bronson Stafford now. He has to chase down Joe Lawrence, almost gets up into the outside traffic there. Byron Daly looks on as well. All of these drivers, we are clicking off the laps. 14 laps to go here in the Intoxicated Gaming 200 live on CFI.
And here comes Byron Daly once again to the inside of Bronson Stafford. This is allowing Joe Lawrence to gap the rest of these guys and try and pull away here in the closing stages. If they battle long enough, it might be too late for whoever ends up in second to track down Joe. And so far, still side by side there for the second spot.
Very tight battle right here as well. Lariah looks on from behind as Alan Cryer, Shane Terrian side by side for that 6th position. Bronson Stafford caught up on the outside though for 4th. He's going to fall back another spot as now Joseph Tice almost makes contact with him here coming up off the corner. We are getting closer and closer here, and wow, this front group of drivers battling so hard, and watching right now as Joe Lawrence starts to pull away. This could be the victory for the season that 78 really needs, as he's had a tough couple of seasons here in the UpperEdge Racing Series, last season in the CMC Sportsman Series. He got off with a lot of momentum, struggled for a while, then did not come around for a few races, then came back at the end, and now this season for the London Recreational Sportsman Series, he's off to a fresh start and looking pretty good.
Yeah, he definitely is. We'd love it to go that time by. Byron Daly starting to cut into that lead, though, on Joe Lawrence, and he's coming, especially with some draft here. Looking at the track in front of him, looks like they're going to have Mark Rappolo, a car that's been in the garage for most of the race, in front of him. After that, it should be clean sailing for these leaders, and a caution comes out back in the field.
And this changes everything here. Famous words of motorsports, it seems, is the caution clock. Or in this case, unfortunately, Shane Terrian, the number 38, going around here. And this is going to change things up big time. We'll take a look at the replay, what exactly happened. Michael Arias on his inside here, 3 wide, minor contact there, and oh, it's going to send him around, and woo, there we go. That's what caused it.
That was a case of 3 wide, but the drivers think they were 2 wide and no room there. Unfortunate circumstance for Shane Terrian, who'll go around at the outside wall. Gonna have some heavy left front damage, but what this will do is pit strategy, and oh boy, you're gonna bring it down or not. Looks like everyone's coming down pit road. The question is it 2 tires or 4?
And I heard, when I was talking to him, a lot of drivers thinking of 2, and I'm not sure how many are actually going to go through with it here. I'm looking, I'm watching, not many drivers going through with just 2 tires, so that's going to be interesting for sure. Let's take a look. Joe Lawrence, the first car off of pit road, and he'll come away with the lead when we get this thing restarted.
It's going to be Joe Lawrence, Byron Daly, Joseph Tice, looks like Nick Mass in 4th. Also, Alan Cryer going to round out that top 5 of cars that came down pit road. Looks like Alan, a part of the group that did take 2 tires. Possibly, we'll have to double check that, but nonetheless, it's going to be great starting position for all those guys.
And I got to really highlight right here Nick Massey in that number 95. This, I don't want to say dangerous by any means, but right now he's at the point. He's going to be starting 2nd row inside line if he can get a good start here. This number 95 has a very good shot at a win if he can pull something off here.
And really, everyone's going to have a bigger shot because Bronson Stafford came in, one of the guys up front, 39 car caught speeding on pit road there. He's going to be inverted to the end of the longest line. That's going to be a costly penalty for that team. That's going to pretty much end his chances of winning tonight. So tough break for Bronson. That's definitely not how he wanted tonight's race to play out.
And you are tuned in to Checkered Flag Interactive Coverage, premier UpperEdge racing broadcasting here, week in, week out. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty, giving you all the action here. Top 10 as they run is Joe Lawrence, Byron Daly, Nick Massey, and then we have Joseph Tice, Alan Cryer, J.D. Laird, Chad Coleman, Lariah, McLean, and Lapkovich there to round out the top 10.
Into the 01, Alan Cryer actually did take 4 tires there under that last pit stop, not 2 tires. I don't think anyone really took 2 tires, at least looking at the top 10. Looks like everyone went with 4 there. The older Atlanta surface definitely tough on tires, so no one taking any chances. They'll bring it down fresh rubber and have that for the remaining laps here tonight. And really, this is going to bring a huge shakeup up front, because now with Bronson Stafford no longer in the picture, Joe Lawrence, Byron Daly, they're up there for the win, but Nick Mass and Joseph Tice, Alan Cryer, they've been up there, but really this is their chance to possibly steal one tonight. Joe's had the speed, Joseph has as well. Can anyone else possibly outside the top 5, also get up there and try and win?
And at this point, it's going to be balls to the walls, I do believe, here. These drivers will do whatever is necessary in their playbook to try to get that win, because if you win and you're in for the championship books, and that means for the rest of the season, you do what you need to do. Have fun out there, set some records and whatnot. So this could be a game changer for any of these drivers that crosses the line. The only driver that it doesn't make a difference for is the driver that won Daytona last week, and I don't really think he's got a shot at winning it here tonight.
He definitely doesn't, because he's unfortunately not in the field. Andy Glazik not in attendance
Exactly.
tonight, but that's beside the point. We're going to go back to green flag racing here. Joe Lawrence, Byron Daly, the front row, and there we are, green flag back in the air for what could be the final restart. And now Joseph Tice in the J.D. Laird, just when I said so. I stand corrected.
Well, the viewers called it. Big one on a restart, big one happened.
And hearing Joseph Tice might have missed a shift there on that restart, that's definitely going to be costly. He's right in the middle, and J.D. Laird tried to go to the outside. No room really for either of those cars. They get together. Michael Lariah, just an innocent victim, and from there it was on. Bradley Burkhart hit into the wall, plenty others involved, but this could be the end of the race. I have to get confirmation on that.
I think we will go back green with about 2 to go.
Yeah, that probably is going to be the official hearing, if at the least, probably at least a 1-lap shootout, which will be interesting as its own. But really the case in point is there are a ton of great cars up front that had the speed to win, caught up in that one, and they will not race for the win here. In the final laps, they're going to have a tough finish to swallow, and definitely Bradley Burke, that car's had a tough night, and especially looking at it now, definitely not the condition he wanted it to end the race in, and he had the speed early on and just no luck tonight.
We're going to slow it down. One thing interesting here, taking a look from the chopper, J.D. Laird is the driver, that number 23 up there. He is 3 wide. I mean, he starts gunning it before the 5 goes, before really even the 90th, or Byron Daly gets going, and he has to majorly check up there, and that's really what leads up to the heavy contact, I do believe, of what happened. Just gets up to his outside, nowhere to go.
And it was a tough break for Tice. He had the run. He had a great race going there, and unfortunately that's just a driver error, misses a shift. And really, when you have all those cars up in front of you, and especially behind you being up front, there's just nowhere to go for any of them. And J.D. Laird tried to go high because he knew it was his only option, and no room there. And that's when you really know you're in trouble, when there's nowhere to go absolutely, and Utrecht insists, and all those guys are going to be done for tonight.
Man, and right now, if you are Joe Lawrence, you are hurting right now. You're going to go back to green with probably two laps to go here. You're going to have to battle it. You're not the leader right now. You don't get lane choice. Oh, it's got to be so tough after doing all the hard work to get there. Byron Daly just got the luck of the restart and the luck of the caution there. And he's going to be restarting in control, the control car for this thing.
Yeah, really, everyone went into that last restart, possibly thinking it was the last one and the nerves are on for that one. But now, this one's going to be the final one we know, and really what's going to happen here is anyone's guess. And this is definitely not the one you want to miss a shift. Saw it in the last one. I know Byron Daly, Joe Lawrence, they've got to have that in their heads. You know you can do it. You've done it thousands of times, shifting from second to fourth, and this is not the time to have a mistake happen there. What happened to Joseph Zeiss, and I can definitely play with a driver's mind when you see someone else make a mistake. You're just as likely to make that one as well.
And it does appear it will be a one-lap shootout.
And because it's a one-lap shootout, that means we get the green and the white at the same time, and any wrecks or things that pursue after that, the race doesn't stop. It's a race back to the whole lap, all the way back to the start-finish line, and whoever gets there first is the winner, really regardless of anything else that happens. And in the previous weeks here on CFI, we've seen some pretty crazy things when it comes to those circumstances, obviously. So tonight could be in for some of that as well.
And this one-lap shootout, it's going to really be interesting here because, I said balls to the wall racing that last time around. Well, this time it's definitely going to be. There's nothing for these guys to leave on the table because, if caution comes out, you're racing to the line. And let's just take a moment. Let's realize when we did the I've Got Balls 250 a few weeks ago, every single car wrecked coming out of Turn 4 in that Daytona race. Every single car in the field, Shane. You never know what we're going to see here.
You definitely don't. And the winner of that race actually went through pit road and hit the outside wall at who knows how much speed and won the race backwards. Spun across the finish line, was able to make it across. And, that was pretty crazy. I don't think we're going to ever see that again. But, future knows the answer. I certainly don't. But we're just going to have to see how it all plays out. What we do know is going to happen is Byron Daly's going to be the leader. Joe Lawrence to his outside, Nick Mass, Alan Cryer, and Chad Coleman, your top five. They're in the best positions, and everyone else behind them, they're going to try and fight on this restart to make something happen. It's not going to be likely to see a winner outside the top five, but, we've seen crazier things.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, it's time to pull those belts tight, as they would say, because this is going to be good here. It is the final lap when they cross the line going green. Pace car is going to pull down for the Intoxicated Gaming 200. One-lap shootout. It's everyone's game out here. Who's going to do it? Who's going to win? Dead even restart up at the front. Green flag back in the air. Joe Lawrence looks to get to the bottom side. He's not going to do it. They're wrecking in the back, keeping our eyes up on what's going on up front.
And that's all that really matters. Byron Daly, he's got the lead, but can Joe Lawrence get the run? They're going to be glued to this white line. I know it. There they all are. Glued. No one's going to the inside. You're going to have to pass the outside if you're going to want to win the race.
I don't know what Lawrence can do. He's going to pull up all the way probably to the back bumper. He's got to do some mumbo-jumbo here. He's got to look. He's got to look for it. He's going to give it his all, but he's not going to be able to do it. Byron Daly crosses the line in first after holding off a hard-charging Joe Lawrence.
And Joe took it to the apron and pretty much as far as he can put it. Almost in the grass does he go. But Byron Daly's going to hold him off and win the Intoxicated Gaming 200 here live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. That was definitely a hard-earned victory.
Yeah, definitely a hard-earned victory for Byron Daly. Very impressive.
And does the slide across the start-finish line. Started 23rd, didn't really have the car early on, but when he made his way toward the front, Byron had the kind of speed to stay there, and he did just that. Ends up winning here tonight, and that's definitely going to help him out here. And we'll just have to see where this takes him from here.
And he's actually not in TeamSpeak to get a ring in with, but we do have our third place finisher, Nick Massey, and I'll turn you over to him with Nick.
All right, here with Nick, the 95 could bring it home third here tonight. Nick, before you take us through the rest of the race, talk about that one-lap shootout.
Yeah, I didn't know how that was going to go there. I was kind of hoping I would just call it right there. I'd just wrap up at third place there. I was kind of worried I wouldn't get a good one, but I gave it all I had.
You definitely did, and you still brought it home third here tonight. Your expectations going into this race, and really, how did it all play out throughout it?
I definitely didn't think I'd finish up there with them guys. It's really cool coming in here and be able to compete for wins and stuff. But it was definitely tires made it really tough to pass, and sorry, I got somebody talking in my ear here, but yeah, it was definitely really tough to pass. I didn't expect that coming in here. Practiced and let the tire fall off and everything like that. Expected to be more of a tire management race, but it was more of like a draft and follow the leader kind of race.
Yeah, it definitely was, and really tons of side-by-side racing action. There really wasn't a point in the race where everyone was single file. There were always battles going on out there on the racetrack, but a third-place finish for you, that's going to keep you up there in the points. Talking about having that early momentum, especially as a rookie in this series, and how that's going to play out for the rest of the season.
It's definitely pretty good. I was pretty disappointed with that 29th place that finish at Daytona, but so I knew I needed to come in here and run pretty consistent going forward. So third place definitely helps with that. Hopefully I can do good in the upcoming races. I think Sonoma or Watkins Glen's coming up here, so I don't know how that's going to go yet, but hopefully pretty well. But definitely gives me a lot of confidence that knowing that I can run with the veterans in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we let you go, Nick, any sponsors or shout-outs you'd like to thank for tonight's efforts?
I know they didn't get the finish they wanted, but Markel and all my team there. I think they got caught up in some of the mayhem in the back there, but definitely owe it all to them, and definitely Chris Wright and Jamie for getting me into the league.
All right, that's Nick Ash bringing it home third here tonight. Definitely a strong showing for him, and he'll be pretty happy with that finish.
And now I'm catching up with Joe Lawrence, finished up in second. Take us through there, the frustrations of that final caution and not ending up the control car here. What was it like?
Well, I really thought I had to decide it there, but that one quick caution pretty much screwed me over there. I really thought I had it when I came off pit road in the lead, but we gave it all we had on that one lap dash and just came up a little short, but second is still a really good night for us.
Well, how does it feel after an up and down season last year around to get off on a semi-good foot here? I'd like to say Daytona might not have been the absolute best, but taking tonight's race, how does it feel?
Yeah, the Daytona finish wasn't the one we were expecting, but it definitely feels good to come out and have speed at all the tracks I've been to so far to definitely prove that I have a shot and I'm a competitor at every track we go to. It's definitely it's a confidence booster. So going into the next couple runs, hopefully we can keep it going and hopefully pull off a win because I'll be missing a couple of races here. So the only way into the chase for me right now is a win.
All right, well, before we continue on here and get a ring in with one more driver, who do you have to thank for making all the efforts happen here tonight?
I gotta thank our Expression Studios for the awesome paint scheme I got this year, and then again, all my teammates just helped me improve myself as a driver week in, week out, and always giving me positive tips, and that's about it. I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting. You do a great job.
All right, Shane, over to you with Bronson Stafford.
Here at Bronson Stafford, and Bronson definitely not the finish I think you were deserving tonight. First in practice, sat on the pole, led a ton of laps here tonight, going to bring it home in 22nd, though. Talk about the disappointment.
Yeah, I think it's mainly my fault. I screwed up that last pit stop. Like the whole pace car went flying by us, and we all had to play catch up to the Joe and Byron there, and hit pit road, and was doing about 52, and it gave me excessive speeding, so I had to start in the back, and from there it just kind of went downhill.
Yeah, but you were one of the dominant cars early on. Talk about being out front and how this overcast weather at Atlanta Motor Speedway really made it difficult for some of those guys, but also made it easy for you to stay out there up front.
It was definitely fast. We were pretty much full throttle the entire run up until about 15-20 laps in, and you could still probably full throttle, but you wouldn't really want to due to the right front tire on it. But I figured something out in that first run, and I was actually able to gap up by about a second or so on everyone else that was trying to draft, and it seems by the time we hit that third run, everyone kind of knew the same thing, but basically just letting off a little bit on corner entry, the car really settled in more, and it was just a lot of fun. You know, really quick in practice, really quick in qualifying. The pole's actually all thanks to my teammates there of Shane, Tom, and Justin Munsell. All you guys, we got together in qualifying and kind of went out as a tandem train like you'll see at Daytona or Talladega, but it worked here as long as no one got too off center. The race just played out, you know, just kind of tried to stay up front and do what we could do, get the lead whenever we weren't in it, or if we got passed by 2-3 people, try and save tires and get it back. And for the most part, it worked out, and screwed up on my own fault there on the last pit stop. But definitely nothing about the car or teammates or anything like that. Just completely my error.
But nonetheless, still had a fast car. You know, about the possibilities, especially heading into Auto Club next week. This is going to possibly mean you're going to be pretty fast on 1.5 and bigger tracks, knowing you've got some things figured out.
Yeah, for sure. I hope that's the case. I know Auto Club's normally a pretty good track anyway. It's got... I haven't really ran it much on since we've gotten the whole dynamics, but hopefully it rubbers in all the grooves, everything like that, so we can kind of move around a little bit more. It's the full throttle races. Sure, we're good at them, but then again, so is pretty much everyone else. It's almost Daytona. It's just full throttle will go left, and every now and then you got to lift it a little bit. So it's not the most fun, but it is still a lot of fun, especially when you get guys like Byron Daly, Joe Lawrence, and Joseph Theis and stuff up front. You know, we were racing 3 wide for a lap. I mean, towards the end of a race, what more can you say? It's not a super speedway, and that happened. So definitely nothing against that. It's fun. It's hopefully translates to more speed. Las Vegas, places like that, Chicago. You know, just hopefully it's a good thing for the season, and won't let this one finish too bad. So
yeah, definitely all kinds of interesting tracks coming ahead here for the season. But before we let you go, any sponsors or shout-outs you'd like to thank for tonight's efforts?
Yeah, it's a huge thanks everyone back at the team. You know, myself, Shane Therian, Justin Munsell on board. Had Monster on board this week. We're running pretty good amount of races with them since Shane's heading off. So we got Monster on board, we got Home Depot on board, Verizon, Coca-Cola, all those guys, and it's just a lot of fun to go out every week and, you know, be able to do this. It's like UpperEdge is a fun league. It's got a lot of people, huge car counts, and good racing. So it's definitely a lot of fun to go out there week in, week out.
All right, that's Bronson Stafford. Finishes 22nd tonight. Had a great car, but still very humble about that finish. He definitely is going to be one to reckon with for the rest of the season, and it's not going to be long for that team. Definitely gets the finish they deserve.
And Shane, we watched a pretty impressive race here tonight. We saw drivers have their ups, their downs, all around, 3 wide. Just great action from pretty much flag to flag. The cautions we had, very interesting. We saw big names crash early on, and big names crash later on in the race as well. But as Atlanta wraps up next week, we go to Auto Club. That's going to be awesome. Then Iowa, and then from Iowa to Road America. Very diverse schedule here through the 18-race season. But for everybody here at Checkered Flag Interactive and the London Recreational Sportsman Series, we are signing off for the night. Mr. Savage, signing off.